because of the sensitive nature of what you do, and because that, in Massachusetts, politics are the ultimate contact sport. Are you guys wired into, you've got a new administration up there, the Baker administration, which would have
Who we love. I want Charlie Baker to come and sit in on classes. I give him a whole curriculum for free. Absolutely.
Really?
I would do that for him. Charlie Baker is more than welcome to come and sit through the entire curriculum and take the exam entirely for Phil because he's cool. Wow. I wish he would.
Now, have you spoken to Gina Raimondo yet in Rhode Island? Actually, if there is a governor who's desperately in need of an intervention, and I say with all the kindness of the world, it would be Gina Raimondo, who is suffering from the need to think about it disease, needs to think about it.
Oh, see, I think we need Chris Christie to come through, too. We can get Chris Christie to come through and take the classes. I think New Jersey would be in a much better place.
Yeah, Chris Christie needs a intervention as well. But
so to your original question, we are today having an activism, a lobby workshop and training on campus. And the NATIC representative is there today, participating, helping educate the students and the attendees of that seminar, and it was totally free. How to prepare yourselves to talk to your representative, how to prepare yourself to talk to your senators, and the points we need to make when we're going there. So we are absolutely connected into the the political machine of Massachusetts, and always trying to reach out further.
Right, because in a situation like this, it's so important to present a mature, on-point message.
Yes.
Because your opponents are just waiting for you. There are so many people now. And I know that Rhode Island. I work in Watertown, but in Rhode Island, there are a lot of people who make their living perpetuating the same current existing. All these advocacy groups, all the anti-pot groups, all the folks that make a living monitoring and intervening in drug situations. I mean, they see legalization as a threat. And they see it as a financial threat to their funding. So you have to, the minute you lapse into any sort of stoneries, the minute you lapse into anything at all, that they are waiting to pounce on that.
Oh, yeah.
We've, here in Rhode Island, I'm not sure if you're familiar with something called PolitiFact, but PolitiFact is a national journalistic organization that when politicians make these pronouncements, they fact check them, basically. And twice, on local media, one individual has failed PolitiFacts because they just make up studies as they go along.
Yeah.
And no one in the conventional media is willing to question them. The conventional media is so afraid of losing access to mainstream government that they're not willing to challenge it. And we always say if you're not analyzing, you're advertising for them, and if you're not advocating, you're advertising for them. So you as a particularly since there's so much legislation in play right now.
Oh yeah.
And we're such a critical path here in New England. It's all about presenting this as a financially stable, well thought out, articulate industry.
I'll be honest. Aside from the regular opinion response in a Wicked Local. I don't know if you're familiar with Wicked. Okay, so they have the opinion section where some local townie is ranting about this, that, or the other. That's like the worst press that marijuana gets in Massachusetts. If you remember during the 2012 medical marijuana campaign, there was an quote opposition. You can't see my air quotes on the radio. And they, what was it? Vote no on 3. And they told the voter guide that goes out to everybody, all the registered voters in Massachusetts, get this voter guide, and it talks about all the questions and all the politicians and everything else that you could possibly vote on the entire ballot. It's a little, little booklet. And they had put their bit together and submitted it to the voter registration. And so it went out, and a couple of local activists got their voter registrations first, and they were flipping through to check out who, if there's an opposition group to 2012 and question 3. And they said, oh, yes, there is. Let me see their website. What do they say? Oh, they didn't buy the domain? And guess what? we had the domain.
Yeah.
So they turned it into a whole parody, and there was nothing that this, quote, opposition group could do. They didn't register the domain name that went out in the voter guide.
Right.
So when you went on to the Vote No on 3 campaign page, it was Drug Dealers Union 1133 says vote no because we'll make less money. And they have the picture of the South Park teacher. Drugs bad, okay? And they had great things, just great things, like hysterical things. And then about a week before voting, election day, they changed the whole entire webpage to "We changed our mind." We changed our mind, vote yes, and listed out got the good reasons, all of the articles, all of the information, all proper information, real logic, sound education on cannabis and why you should vote yes. And it was just great, because if that's the caliber of opposition cannabis has in Massachusetts, you can't lose anything.
Right.
You can't, anything.
In Rhode Island, there's such a small political gene pool, and there's so many people. Interestingly enough, the first compassion centers, which have been fought for a generation by Rhode Island politicians, the first compassion center applications were from people involved with Rhode Island politicians. And
I don't know if you heard, Delahunt Group, the Triple M, they got all of their licenses back on track in Massachusetts. Although they got rid of Delahunt.
Yeah, he will. His legacy will continue to live on forever.
I don't know how they got as far as they did when you read through their application and it said, we're a nonprofit group and 50% of all of our gross proceeds are going back to this management company.
Right.
Oh, so you're not reinvesting in the company, the employees, developing your services, helping patients. You're just going to go ahead and keep it.
Right.
And you're going to funnel it through this management company so that it looks legit. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good business model. You make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not the point.
Yeah, exactly. So now will you be expanding the school to other locations?
Absolutely. Hopefully that's the plan. Grow. Bigger.
Anything down here in Rhode Island you're looking at, or?
Probably we're going to go farther and then come back in. Probably, we have the whole nation to cover.
Right.
I mean, not enough schools out there. So, we probably diversify, stretch out a little bit, and then maybe smaller satellite campuses in the New England area. We'll see. There's a lot of different ideas. We're still not there yet. We're still, we got to pay off all of those investors first.
How many graduates do you have?
Just over 50.
Nice.
Yeah. And we have several that have had interviews with Massachusetts dispensaries, which is so exciting. We've had a couple back in Canada that are working. They actually came from Canada to take the courses and then went back to Canada and are working. We have some that have moved out west. We have some in Connecticut. We've got some in Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, all over the place that are, looking for those jobs, and we're doing the best we can to help them.
Great. Well, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love internet radio. I can curse all I want. My Nana is so proud.
You've been listening to Kara Crab Burnham. She is the school administrator. You don't remind me of Dean Wormer at all.
Am I too young for that one?
Animal House.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Is there a double secret probation at your school?
Yes. No.
She heads the Northeastern Institute of Cannabis, who has got would you call it a certificate program? Is that?
It's a certificate of competency.
Certificate of competency in areas revolving in and around the medical use of cannabis.
And the whole industry.
Really leading the way, leading the way towards education in the industry. Their website is instituteofcannabis.com, www. They are in Natick right now, but have plans to conquer the world. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I think we may have just convinced our own George Nasser from My Night Out Radio to sign up for Cannabis College. He was listening to that segment with bated breath today. I think we may have a potential student on our hands. And if you can believe it, we only have about a half hour left of our coverage today, and we're going to go down to some local music as we get toward going towards wrapping it up, we're going to bring it down a notch, but we're going to hear some local music nonetheless. We're going to hear from Thayer Cabin, and this is Don't Be Afraid. You are tuned in to Rhode Island Free Radio, online at rifreeradio.org. We'll be with you for a little bit more from Providence, Rhode Island, and the Rhode Island Cannabis Convention. Here's some Thayer Cabin, some good advice. Don't be afraid. A little local music, Don't Be Afraid, the name of that one you just heard from the incomparable Thayer Cabin. Incidentally, they have a brand new EP out. Don't forget to check them out online as we support local music here. Thayer Cabin. I can't begin to explain what Thayer Cabin is. They kind of have the gypsy sound, but they're acoustic, and you got to check them out on Facebook. It's Thayer Cabin, spelled just like